Hello everyone. Today I've got two new horror books for you to check out to finish out your summer of scares. These ones are both newer releases and they're both available right now, so you don't even have to pre-order. You should definitely pick these ones up because I'm telling you, October is going to be stacked. I have so many books to talk about in October, but we're still in the summer. Let's not give up that yet. So go ahead and pick these two books up. Finish off your summer of scares in a very, very horrifying way. But first, as always, I want to remind you that I have books for sale. And if you want to read any of the books you see on your screen, there is a link in the description. All right, let's get started. So the first book I want to talk about today is the newest release. Just came out. This is called The Vein by Steph Nelson. This is a book about small town horror, and this town in Idaho, I believe, Pate, Idaho, is known for its abandoned silver mine. There was a big silver mine boom way back in the day, where people were coming to claim their stakes, and if not, they can work in the mines to make an honest living. It was very lucrative at the time. But now all those mines have been abandoned. They're out there in the middle of the woods, sometimes far away in the woods. And they're dilapidated, and nobody really goes out there. But this town also has a high number of disappearances. People disappear at the rate of 15 or 20 per year, sometimes more, sometimes less. And nothing seems to be done about them. Like no investigations, no bodies are ever found. And this town has these weird little things they do, like families who have had people disappear in their families. They hang their pictures outside of their houses for some reason. We have a lady who used to be a police detective. She's moving back to Pate, and the chief of police there asks her to help him investigate this grisly murder scene that they found in one of the mines. She's done with that kind of work. She doesn't want to, but curiosity gets the best of her because it's very strange and very, very bizarre. What they find in that mine, the body is all mummified almost. It looks like he's starved to death, even though he'd been missing less than 24 hours. So there's a mystery about that. So she decides to help him investigate, but she knows right away that people are holding back from her, even the chief. He wants her help, but he's not telling her everything because this town has some very deep, dark secrets. The sheriff's got some secrets of his own. And he doesn't really know how much to share with her about some of these things. But the secrets of this town are just horrifying, because not only do people disappear, we're going to find out that sometimes they reappear. Maybe not for long, but they do come back, and sometimes not the way people remember them when they left. There's a howling that comes from the woods that attracts certain people to venture into those woods near the old abandoned mines. And people report having dreams of seeing their missing relatives with glowing silver eyes and their veins glowing like with silver running through their bloodstream instead of blood. Very horrifying things. And this covers actually several characters, and these are all great characters. I mean, there's a lot of, we're going all the way back to when this town was founded by people, and then we're going to jump ahead a little bit to see how people in the early part of the 90s, I believe is when this book is set, or 2000, somewhere in there, how their situation is connected to things that happened in the past. We're going to get all these little puzzle pieces and connections. You're going to read something in an earlier chapter and say, okay, I'm going to put that in the back of my head, but where is it going? But then in a later chapter, in the more modern times, that is going to click and make sense. So this author leaves those breadcrumbs for you to figure out part of this mystery. And all of these characters are going to be interconnected in a very horrifying, frightening way. When I first saw the cover and read the title, The Vein, I thought this was going to be a vampire novel, because that would be a good name for a vampire novel, right? The Vein? I don't know, makes sense to me. But man, this one, it was not that. It's much more horrifying, something you can really, you don't want to read alone at night. This book will give you nightmares. It's absolutely great. It's her debut novel. And yeah, she's going to be a big name in the horror community, I think. Because if this is her first novel, and with every subsequent one, she's just going to get better and better. And yeah, this is the starting point. It's going to be, she is going to take off. This novel just blew me away, exceeded my expectations. I absolutely loved it. And I finished it in 2 days because I was just staying up very late into the night where I live just to figure out what is going on here. There's some scenes in there that you will not be able to forget. Trust me on that. And it's available right now, and I will leave a link down below to Amazon where you can purchase your copy, and I highly, highly recommend it. And next we have Black Echoes by J.B. McLaren. This is a fantastic book about addiction, grief, loss, regrets, and all the stuff that comes with it, set in a very straightforward, bleak kind of a story there. Because we have a man named Hank, and Hank is a drummer for an upcoming heavy metal band. Drumming has been his life. He gets in a horrible car accident one day, which injures him to the point where he can't play the drums anymore. So his band kind of replaces him, but he vows to get back into full playing form so he can take his spot back in that band. And he does that by relying on pain pills at first. But then his band, even as he's practicing and struggling and doing everything he can to overcome the pain so he can get back in his top drumming form, the band decides not to bring him back. This spirals him into an out-of-control downward spill of harder drugs. He eventually gets addicted to heroin. He's doing small-time robberies and things just to make enough money to get his fix. And that's going to turn into some big-time felony crimes eventually. He's left behind his girlfriend, he's left behind his father, his family and friends. They don't recognize him anymore. He chooses the drugs over any of his past relationships. But this is kind of a cycle because his father, when he was a baby, his father took him after a drug deal gone very, very wrong. The mother was murdered during this drug deal. His father was addicted at the time also. And he grabbed the child to start a new life. And he's raised Hank practically by himself, turned his life around, and now he has to see his son go through the same thing he's already experienced, knowing where it's going to lead. And he feels partially guilty for that because he's never told his son about his mother or the circumstances under which she died. There's a lot of secrets in this family that he has not revealed to his son. And now that his son is in the full throes of this addiction, where is it going to lead? Eventually, we're going to get some drug dealings tied to the cartel. And the cartel has a hitman, and this is one of the best villains you'll read in a book like this, I'm telling you. We never find out his name. He's just known simply as the man with the black eyes because his eyes are completely black. And he is a true psychopath. And when I say that, I don't mean he's running around with a crazy look on his face, you know, double-wielding machetes through the streets causing a ruckus. He's very stoic. He's very well-spoken. He's very methodical. And his eyes are black as coal. And he's a psychopath because he doesn't know he's a psychopath, which is what makes a psychopath, a real psychopath. And he actually believes the rhetoric he gives his victims as he's torturing them painfully, but very slowly, keeping them alive and keeping them awake so they feel every ounce of their pain. And we're going to read about that in detail, and you will feel that pain along with some of his victims. And he's telling them a story. He thinks this is an art form, what he's doing. He's doing it for art and for a higher power. And you can tell he's obviously crazy, but he believes every single word of it. He has no remorse, no regrets, and he has no qualms about putting the pain on people that his bosses say need this pain for whatever reason. He's more than happy to do it. And eventually, Hank and Hank's girlfriend and Hank's father and this man with the black eyes, they're all going to come together, and nobody is going to leave that situation the same. Even the ones that survive, their lives are going to be changed forever with this confrontation, and not everybody is going to make it. And the thing I really like about this book is I love a good overcoming addiction story. When people post things on social media like on 3,000 days clean and sober, I'm happy for them. We should all celebrate those successes, because that is not an easy thing to do. But unfortunately, in real life, most of the time, people's addictions get the better of them, and they find themselves in these situations, unable to overcome it, and eventually leading to their death. And this author looks at that in a very straightforward way. He doesn't promise any happy endings. This isn't really a redemption story at all. It's very dark and very bleak, but it's also very, very effective, grounded more in reality. But that villain, the man with the black eyes, is one of the scariest villains you'll read, and you'll find out why when you pick up this book. There is a link down below in the description where you can pick up your copy of Black Echoes, and just like with the other one, I highly, highly recommend it. Alright, so that will bring you up to your summer of scares. Hopefully these two books will put you over the top, get you ready for that big October rush that's coming, and I can't wait to share all these amazing books that are coming out with you when the time comes. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time and spending it here with me. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.